It's time to talk fantasy football. It's time to let them know. Where you let us crunch the numbers while you crush the competition. So grab your playbooks and crack a cold one, because here's your hosts, Teak and Baney.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Teak, here with Badge and Baney. Before we get to the Against the Spread segment, we're going to go over the recap of the fantasy players. But before that, guys, I kind of want to talk about a couple games here in Week 10. I'll go the most recent one we watched. I'm going Buffalo Broncos. I need some thoughts from you guys. Is the Madden curse real? Is it coaching? I know they fired the OC Ken Dorsey. I just need opinions over here is what I'm asking for.
I think that they miss Dable, and I think it is evident every time that offense steps on the field. And I think their personnel is very confusing. I don't understand their usage. I actually messaged Debro the entire night during the game, and he was calling for Dorsey's head the entire game. First thing that happens Monday morning, Dorsey's gone. So I'm curious to see where this team goes forward. So that's all I got to say. It's a very confusing game.
Yeah, one thing you guys touched on. I mean, it's nice to see when an offense isn't working out, they make a change. So take some notes, Steelers. You can make a change. I still think the Bills are going to be a playoff team. I mean, they're just having a little trouble finding their identity right now. I mean, Josh Allen can win some games. They just got to get back on track with those injuries on defense that they came across throughout the season. But, hey, they see there's a change to be made. Got to make it.
So just going off that too, most games with 3+ turnovers since 2018. Winston with 9, Sam Darnold 9, Baker Mayfield 10, and Josh Allen 10.
Yeah, dude, he's a turnover machine this year.
So is it coaching? Take care of the ball. I know Diggs wants his brother out of there. It's a mess in Buffalo right now.
Yeah, I think the turnovers are just more Josh Allen trying to put that team on his back because there's a little bit of panic. So I think they got to hit the reset button, get back to Buffalo football. And so, again, it's just him trying to do too much, I think. So.
And Badge is saying, they're going to make the playoffs. It's not promised, man. There's going to be a couple. My hot take is there's going to be 2 to 3 top AFC teams that are not going to make the playoffs. Cincinnati's kind of on the bubble right now. Buffalo's on the bubble. It's going to be shaky at the end of the year. I'm curious to see how it all plays out.
AFC is tough.
But moving along to the next topic here I got for you boys. Is Sam Howell a franchise staple? Or is he another Herbert putting up numbers without anything to show for
it? You see it. He's the number 1 leader in passing yards right now, completions right now, also sacks right now, and top 5 in touchdowns. However, they're throwing it more than anybody else too. So, I mean, it's kind of going hand in hand. But you like to see it. He's got the weapons to sustain it. They got young receivers, young backs. If they get Rivera out of there and put Bieniemy as the head coach, I'm curious to see how it goes forward. But Howe got a lot of praise coming out of college. He slipped in the draft. I'm not sure exactly how that played out, but I'm a fan. He's torched the Eagles twice this year. So, I mean, I've seen it firsthand.
And you have to appreciate the Tar Heel boy.
Of course.
You got to appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to my team, the Tar Heels, baby. No, but seriously, Sam Howell's a scrappy dude. The guy's a baller. I mean, get this guy an offensive line and develop him a little more. He's looking dangerous with that arm. I mean, keep those weapons in place, get a better line, establish a run game a little better too. I like where he's headed.
And then my last topic for you boys. I know Baney loves talking about these boys because they them boys. Dallas loses another big piece on defense with Leighton Vander Esch being done for the year and possibly talk about his career. from that neck injury again. I think he had that neck injury once or twice before. First Diggs, now him. This defense needs a next man up mentality. Hopefully they can find that, but unfortunately, it looks like this defense is slowly ticking down.
You'd like to think so, but then they are also, isn't there one corner leading the league in interceptions this year? It's just, I don't know, man. It seems to be a little ridiculous that they keep getting talent, even though they're losing people as an NFC rival. You hate to see injuries, but I would like to see this defense slow down somewhere. Yeah, you hate to see it, though. Hopefully they don't bring somebody in that makes them even better. I don't know. You don't like to root for injuries. I don't want to sound like I am, but take all the help we can get.
Yeah, that's a key injury, but I mean, you still got some other key players too with Parsons. I mean, that guy goes all over the field, and then as long as this offense keeps rolling the way it is, I mean, who needs a defense? So hopefully they can keep that up. I don't know. That's going to be I want to see some Eagles-Cowboys matchups more. So maybe in the playoffs.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see that matchup and it continues here. But moving on here, fellas. The top scores, the recap here. At number 5, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown with 30.5 fantasy points. It's nice to see him healthy and back in the lineup and producing on a high level.
Absolute steal in second round of most leagues. Just a PPR monster. If you play in a full PPR league, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to make you a league winner. Every single week, I think. The target share is there to repeat. He has nobody else to really compete with for targets outside of Laporta. Yeah, it's a mystery to me that he's not on this list more often, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Teak mentioned the health. I mean, as long as he stays healthy, this guy is a target machine, and he makes plays. So that Lions offense with him is so exciting. I'm a shareholder. I got him and Gibbs on the same team. Love watching them. Super exciting to watch. So, yeah, St. Brown.
So he holds our number 5 spot with 9 targets, 8 catches, 156 yards and a TD. Moving up a spot, we got one of them boys. We got Brandon Cooks with 32.3 fantasy points there. 9 catches for 173 yards and a touchdown. Baney, we're going to be talking about them boys for a while on this episode. Why don't you kick us off with Brandon Cooks?
Hey, we talked about him here first on the podcast for the Breakouts episode, just pretty much at the conception of this podcast at the beginning of the year. We thought there was going to be a lot of this. There's going to be a lot of room in this offense and target share for him, and really it's been disappointing all year. However, we found something out this week. If you got a wide receiver, if you got a tight end, if you got a running back, whoever it is, start him against the Giants defense because he's going to end up on this list. DFS, start him. That's all I got to say. Brandon Cooks, yeah, this is what we thought we were going to get all year. So,
yeah, it's nice to see Cooks have this game because, I mean, the guy's bounced all around the league. What, 4 teams? Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's bounced one quite a bit.
Yeah, so
he's had about 1,000 yards at every single stop, too.
Yeah, so I think he might have found a home. He took over that Gallup role, it looks like. So they need a solid number 2 over there. I think it's nice to see Cooks on this list. I've always been a fan of his. So good stuff.
And moving on to the number 3 slot here. We're sticking with them boys, and Dak Prescott makes the list again, boys, back-to-back weeks here. 404 yards and 4 TDs. That's 38.9 fantasy points there. Baney, keep talking about them boys.
Yeah. Dude, they just pretty much, this was like a gun range, and they just used the Giants defense for target practice. I think Dallas had like 640 yards of total offense. It's insane. And I think really the biggest takeaway from this list is who's not on it, and that's Tony Pollard. That's kind of concerning for me, but I mean, that's a different topic for another day. Dak Prescott, them boys, they tore up the Giants, dude.
Yeah, I think they got to get that run game going, but that's another topic. Yeah, so I'm a Dak shareholder. He's in mine and Teek's league. I'm in with him. I got Dak and Lamar. I switched Lamar out 5 minutes before kickoff. When I got to look at I always do my little check right before kickoff. Switched him out. Glad I did. Thank you, Dak. I had my career points scored this week. So, heck of a game. I mean, you got to get that run game going. People will catch on, even though CD's a freak. But we'll talk about that next.
Yeah, moving on to the second spot. CD Lamb, 11 catches, 151 yards, and a TD, 39.5 fantasy points. Baney, what are we? We
Annoying.
them boys.
I can't. And you're being a good sport. I can't imagine talking about the.
It's a bye week. My blood pressure was nice and regulated through the weekend. I didn't have to stress out, scream, throw any remotes, so it's okay. It's
I give you props.
You know? No, dude. CeeDee Lamb. This is a third straight week. I think
Second or third, yeah.
And it's not a surprise, man. They finally figured it out. They finally remembered he's on the team, and just pepper this guy. He's been great since college. It's going to continue. The only thing I can hope is eventually he doesn't play for this team, and maybe we'll get a break from talking about him next week.
Well, I think he's going to be there for a while. But CeeDee,
I hate you.
CeeDee's probably the hottest receiver right now in the league. Especially these past 3 games. I'm a shareholder. Paired him with Dak in my other league. Same one I talked about. Yeah, this guy has some talent. He's finding a way to get him the ball again. Got to get that run game going so they can keep that rolling a little bit. So, great game for CD. Proud shareholder right here. We them boys.
And to round it off at the number 1 spot, the PPR Slayer, I like to call him, Keenan Allen, with 40.5 fantasy points. Leads all receivers here and fantasy players with 11 catches, 175 yards, and 2 TDs. I know for me personally, he's one of my favorite receivers in the league right now. And still doing it on a high level, man. It's nice to see. He went from Rivers to Herbert, and he continues that tear.
This is probably my biggest hang your hat on player this year. We did our duos list. He was on my duos list. Probably the first time I caught slack doing this show. I mean, people messaging me, hey, don't believe in that. Here we are, week after week. Dude's just tearing it up. And, we're talking about shareholders and everything in that. I am the biggest subscriber to Zero RB Draft Styles, and it's because I was able to get Keenan Allen, St. Brown, and Jamar Chase this year, one team. That was my stack. Didn't need to take a running back because you got Kamara, and I got him in the 8th round in my league. People were scared for the suspension, so I was able to ride that out. And here we are. I think Chase was maybe a catch away from being number 5 on this list. So huge subscriber to Zero RB because you can get talent like this in a pass-heavy league. I love Keenan Allen. And wins and losses don't matter in fantasy football. Who cares if the Chargers lose every week? I don't, because Keenan Allen is going to get peppered with targets.
Yeah, if they're playing from behind, they're throwing the ball. We love fantasy football. Keenan Allen, I thought he was going to drop off a little bit at the beginning of the season based on the weapons they got, weapons they drafted. I thought it was going to be a little harder when Mike Williams went down, but he proved me wrong. I mean, he's him. He's an animal. I mean, Herbert loves him. Great game for Keenan Allen. And guys, I do have something to say. I want to admit on stream live. I'm going to say it right now for the recap. After last game, I'm going to go on record. You can record it. Jaylen Warren's better than Najee.
It finally happened. It took 11 weeks of the season, but it finally happened.
I admit it. They both had almost 20 points, though. Well, I think Warren had 21. Najee had 18. But, yeah, that guy's running with some purpose.
Sad to see him in that number, but,
I figured the recap episode is good to admit that to you guys.
Yeah, 30 looked better on the hometown boy for sure.
Yeah. I wish you would have picked a better number, though.
Yeah. Yep.
But, Baney, I believe, do you have something for us before we take off to the Against the Spread?
I do, boys. So like I said, it was the bye week. So I got to sit back, relax, kind of hang out. But I kind of started noticing some things about both of your teams specifically that I wanted to hear from you. I'm not poking, not prodding. I want to hear your guys' authentic responses. And I don't want to hear about Matt Canada specifically, but it probably is going to lead to that. So, Badge, the Steelers are on pace to make the playoffs. We're pretty surprised about it. They're playing pretty well, defense specifically, but they've been outgained in every single game this year. And they're literally still have a winning record, which hasn't been done. I think they're the first team since 1940 to be outgained in every single game, but still have a winning record this deep into the year. So how are we feeling? Is it just like the defense is that good? TJ Watt is that good? Can this team get even better? I'm just curious, as a fan, what do you like? Is this enjoyable to watch?
So it is enjoyable seeing them 6-3, but it's very stressful. I'm not going to blame Matt Canada 100%. Kenny misses some wide open throws, and I don't know if this is designed or not. One thing that drives me nuts about watching Kenny, he's in shotgun, he gets the ball, he immediately sprints to his right or left. He cuts that field in half. I don't know if that's designed or not, but I think he needs to get comfortable in the pocket. How we're 6-3, I have no idea. I'll admit it. I think I texted Teak after that W. I said, I have no idea how we are 6-3, but maybe Tomlin. Tomlin finds ways to win. Kenny has one of the best. I think he has the most comebacks in the fourth quarter. But he needs to get comfortable in that pocket, hit the wide open receivers, and get George Pickens the balls, for God's sake, because I don't want to hear him anymore. So, but they have to make some adjustments if they're going to make the playoffs. They got a tough division. They play the Bengals twice, play the Ravens again, play the Browns again. Those are tough games. Play Seattle. So, they have to do something on offense. They can't keep relying on the defense because the defense hasn't even played without Minka. It's a different team back there. He's a big leader. So they're going to have to do something. They have to make something happen on offense. The wins are nice, but I have no idea how they're squeaking these out. So the last week, the Packers were in the red zone 5 times. Scored once. That could have easily went the other way. So, am I happy with that offense? No. Am I happy with 6-3? Yes. But if they can take a little step up, that's what I got to say.
Steelers with an all-time troll on their graphic too. By the way, dude, they posted their win graphic. It was a cheese grater with cheese coming out of it, dude. All time. Teak, I'm gonna turn this to you. Vibe check. How do you feel that this circus of a head coach, Arthur Smith, he comes out and is getting the running back all these touches still doesn't matter, doesn't get in a win. Almost just I don't know, dude, if it's an ego thing for him, but the team just flat out comes out and says he's going to be our head coach next year unless he loses the locker room. Is that them planting the seed, do you think? Do you think that they're kind of over Arthur Smith and they're hey, there is a possible way that he's not the head coach next year?
Oh, definitely. I think the owner, Arthur Blank, dude, wants to win. He wants to get back to where they were previously in 2016. They were, even before the Super Bowl run, they were competitive for years. Always in the division and also in playoffs. Do I think they should tank now? Yeah, let's get a QB and then let Arthur run his course. And if he's a dud with a first-round pick QB, then get rid of him. But if you have the chance to get rid of him, and they're talking about Harbaugh wants to come back to the NFL, he'd be out my door. Because I can't even talk right now because I'm tired of Arthur Smith. Harbaugh shown success in the NFL. He's gotten to the Super Bowl as well, but It's tough, dude. You're talking about stressful, dude. Watch a Falcons game and think
Yeah.
you're a fan, dude. It's a constant cycle. It's we're winning this game to they fucked up to okay the game's over and high draft pick.
Yeah.
And we're a top 10 pick now.
I just think his arrogance, man, is crazy. Like, I think at one point everybody was kind of riding, like, oh, he's different. It's cool. Like, we're kind of winning games. It's gritty. Now it's like, it's just kind of like snobby almost, dude.
I think that was him from the get go. I really do. I think he just hates it that much where it's people persuade. I can't even talk right now. Still, we lose to QBs who don't show face for a lick, and we lose simple games. But I think that was him from the get go, just showing who he was, and people perceived it one way or the other. And that's just who he is. He doesn't like fantasy. He doesn't like media attention about it being bad. The thing I do like about him is he will protect the players at all costs, which I do like. I respect that in a head coach because you never want to see a head coach bashing their own players, but that's the only thing good I can say right now.
Okay. This is the second question I have for you guys, and this is because I heard this on a podcast, and I thought it was a really good talking point, and this is, we save everything, when we're on together to have these conversations, and I really want to hear your guys' specifically opinions on these two players specifically. First one is CJ Stroud. Is it possible for a rookie to win MVP? Do you think that we could see it this year with CJ Stroud? And do you think the Texans need to make the playoffs in order for him to do that? Or just continue doing what he's doing? Because Noah Brown and Tank Dell are having career years. Those are guys that you probably didn't heard of until this year. Nico Collins is balling out when he's on the field. And I think that's 100% CJ Stroud. He is just, he's above and beyond everything we hoped for this year. So I'm curious to know, MVP talks for Stroud, is it warranted? What needs to happen for him to actually win it?
I think it's crazy we're having this conversation about the Texans. CJ Stroud is a baller, man.
That just shows you what a QB can do for your franchise.
So,
instantly.
This team, D'Amico Ryans, this whole young team, they're shocking everybody. Do I think they need to make the playoffs for him to be in that MVP talk? I think they do. Just because that makes it jump up even more because we're talking about this. They make the playoffs. He keeps doing what he's doing, breaking these records. And I think a rookie could win it. He's balling out, and like you mentioned, Noah Brown and Tank Dell, and then you got Nico, who was hurt last week, and then you got Dalton Schultz, who's balling. That whole team is on fire right now, and Stroud brought it. So, dude, absolutely.
He's 2 in passing yards right now. I think he's just outside of 1 in passing touchdowns. He has the lowest interception rate. He's only thrown 2 picks on the year. Like, I don't know, dude, for a guy that they slandered for failing some fluky S2 test. Guys balling. T, do you have any thoughts on this?
I do. I do believe he has to make playoffs. It's just because I wish they would announce the MVP sooner. They announced it very late, like close to the Super Bowl for some reason. So for that reason, you definitely have to make playoffs. And I believe go one step further, he's going to have to win a playoff game before he's going to even be considered in that MVP, I believe. But that's just my thoughts on it because it's just how the voting goes and how late it is. It's way too late. Once the season's over with and we're getting ready for playoffs, they should just announce it, get it over with, but they don't.
So this is the last part before we send it off into badges against the spread. And this is a quarterback that we thought was going to be in CJ Stroud's shoes. But he's far from it, and that is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, I think, gets the crown for most overrated quarterback probably the last 5 years. If you count fumbles lost, he has more turnovers than touchdowns. I think the the fact that he's recovered a handful of those saves that stat, but I think he's 53 touchdowns to 43 turnovers in his career. Hasn't taken another step. I think that if you turn the corner, you'll find somebody who defends him harder than any quarterback in the league. If you turn another corner, you'll find a hater. So I'm curious to find out where you guys land on this totem pole. I think that he is so overhyped, and so many people want to blame everybody else but him. The Urban Meyer situation, I get it, but Doug Peterson's a good play caller, good head coach, and they're lowest in like passing yards down the field. Like they're not moving the ball. He has weapons. They've gotten 2 receivers in 2 years for this guy, and he doesn't use them at all. I think Ridley's like wide receiver, like 50 or something right now. Like I don't know, but I'm curious to see where you guys land on this. Like I said, this is the last part of this, but just a hot topic I heard discussed on a couple of different shows. And I listened to one show where they defended the crap out of him, and another one where they threw him under the bus. And I think he belongs under that bus.
Yeah. So for me, I was big on Trevor Lawrence this year. But I got to throw him under the bus. I mean, Baker Mayfield has better stats than you. You know, I mean, they got you some weapons, like Baney mentioned. That win streak they had, I think that was a lot of ETN in that run game. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like after that playoff game last year where he came back, I was big on him this year. But yeah, he's underperforming. I don't know what the heck is going on over there. I don't know if he melts under pressure or whatnot, but yeah, when Baker Mayfield is thrown to another team, is outperforming you, yeah, you're going under the bus.
You talking about Baker? We did that little poll at the beginning of the season. Justin Fields was outproducing him before Justin Fields even had those breakout games. So that's just to show you how bad Trevor Lawrence has been this year. So I don't know, Teak, where you lie on this?
I think we talked about this before, I believe, because I forgot what QB we're talking about. And you were like, what QB?
That's the ghost.
That's the ghost. I got strobes in here. It's about to go. But
one of the Trevor Lawrence defenders found your house, dude.
Yeah, see that.
But no, it was the Fields comparison that we were just saying. It's before Fields took off, Lawrence stats in fantasy points per game average was worse than Fields.
Correct. I think that's what we talked about. And I mentioned Trevor Lawrence you should be mad at. And yeah, he has all these weapons around him. The whole Ridley thing you guys mentioned, geez, I got stuff going on and off everywhere over here. I think most of that too is if Ridley outperforms Christian Kirk and makes a statement for him to get re-signed, if he gets re-signed during the season, then that pick to Atlanta becomes a second-round pick. Do I think they're doing that? I don't know. It's hard to say, but that doesn't give a good enough reason why T-Law is having the year he's having. I don't know if it's play calling, coaching. I haven't really watched much in-depth in Jacksonville games to give a good detailed response to it, but it's not looking good for him, especially all the hype around him coming out of college.
Yeah, but that was it. That was all I had. Those were just some topics that I just thought, man, it'd be really nice to talk to the boys about. So I saved them, put them in the pocket, and yeah, I just was really curious to know how you guys felt about your teams, because it's both kind of situational, like grinding out, but one team's finding wins, other teams.
Yeah, Badge gets a smile at the end of the day, and I'm just throwing shit. So there's fire and ice.
Smile could go upside down real quick.
Next week's episode, we're gonna tie a whoop to you guys during your game. See what your heart rate gets up to.
Oh, that'd be.
Browns week is very. Baney watched Browns game with me.
It's a bye week.
Drywall hasn't been the same.
But let's take it to Against the Spread with the Money Badger, and hopefully we can put something together for you.
Everyone, welcome to another episode of Against the Spread with the Money Badger. We had another good week. Went 5-3 overall. We continue to cash. Don't miss out. We're 66%. Go subscribe. When you subscribe, comment below, and we're going to give you full access to our Discord where we drop bonus bets, prop bets, FanDuel lineups, DraftKings lineups. We drop all the goods. So go subscribe. You're not going to want to miss out on that. So this week for you, I have a primetime bet, a best bet, Total Dom, Teek's favorite segment, a dog bet, and a bonus bet. So again, more to come. Go subscribe, get access to that Discord. So we're going to kick it off here. My primetime bet. I am going to Denver. I'm taking the Vikings +2 against the Broncos. Yes, I saw the Broncos had that big upset win. They're riding high. But I'm riding Josh Dobbs into the sunset, boys. So this guy is loved, and he's changing this team, getting them back on track, and I believe they're going to make the playoffs. Jefferson might be back. Dobbs is a mobile quarterback, changes that dynamic of that offense. Coach Kevin O'Connell is doing a great job with this team. I am taking Vikings +2 in my primetime bet. Maybe even the money line. So moving on, my best bet. Sorry, my chair hydraulic keeps going down, so I apologize for that. I'm getting shorter. Didn't know that was possible. But so my best bet, going to Houston. D'Amico Ryans is doing a phenomenal job with this team. I'm taking Houston -4. So I'm riding high on that CJ Stroud and this Texans young team. Cardinals offense to me, I know Kyler Murray's back. He's running the ball good. He's looking healthy. But this Texans pass defense also is solid. So they're going to have to pass the ball to keep up with this offense. The Cardinals defense is tied with the New York Giants in the most TDs allowed. They are -77 in the point differential. Nico is back, I think. I believe Nico's back. Even if he's not, Noah Brown is balling out. Best bet, Houston, -4 against the Arizona Cardinals. So moving on to total domination, the over-under. Teek's favorite segment, y'all. So I think in this one, there's going to be points scored. So I'm going Chargers at Green Bay over 44. So last week, Green Bay played my Pittsburgh Steelers. They were in the red zone 5 times, only scored once. I think that changes this week. Against this Chargers D. Alexander, Quay Walker look to be out still. Chargers are going to put up points as well. Give me the over in this one. Over 44, Chargers, Green Bay. Brings us to the dog bet. So, this bet here, going to my Pittsburgh Steelers +4. It's an AFC North battle, so a dog bet too. No pun intended. They're playing the Browns. But Pittsburgh's been outgained in 9 games this year, all 9 games, and yet they're still 6-3. They're just finding ways to win. Coach Tomlin's doing a great job. I know how we all feel about Matt Canada. I know, dude drives me nuts, but maybe in the sidelines he's scoring some points. Well, not some, a little more than usual. Offense, run game looks a little bit better. I mean, nothing to write home about. The Browns won that big game. They're riding high. Very emotional game at Baltimore. So I think that brings them back down here. I'm still not sold on Deshaun Watson. Either way, Pittsburgh or Cleveland, I think it's going to be a 3-point game. Therefore, AFC North, give me Pitt +4 in my dog bet. And finally, to kick it off, I got a little bonus bet for you guys. So I'm going to Baltimore. I'm going to see you outside the bank. Woo woo! I'm taking the Ravens money line at home. So the Ravens just dropped a heartbreaker against Cleveland. That's not happening twice. Ravens are a different team at home. They put up points. That defense plays lights out. Again, AFC North battle. Ravens are much healthier than the Browns. Or the Bengals, I mean. Ravens are much healthier than the Bengals. Bengals are going to be possibly without Henderson and Sam Hubbard. I'm riding that Baltimore money line in the bonus bet. Baltimore money line in Baltimore they're not doing it 2 in a row. So give me the money line. So that about wraps it up for Against the Spread with the Money Badger. Again, go subscribe to the channel. Don't miss out on the Discord. Comment your Discord name below. We'll get you full access, invite to the Discord. Again, prop bets, over-unders, spreads, DFS lineups. We got it all. We're all hot this year. We're doing great. We're making money. Don't miss out. And we got some big news in tomorrow's episode. Huge announcement, guys. You're not going to want to miss this one. So tune in to Thursday, tomorrow's episode. Don't miss out. Big announcement coming soon. Huge news for us in the Let 'Em Know podcast. So we'll see you tomorrow's episode. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Let 'Em Know Fantasy Football Podcast. Join our community and follow us on all socials, or keep up with the episodes on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.
Peace.